Hello everybody, Helcrex here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode 362. Alright, today we're going to be talking about the Wolf's Dragoon's Kestrel VTOL. It's interesting. It has its uses, especially for special operations units, which I think the whole reason the Kestrel was designed was specifically for that unit. Which was, oh gosh, I forgot the name of that. Let's see, the Kestrel was 7th Commando. Okay, that's it. Alright, so the Kestrel is a 25-ton VTOL. It has internal combustion engine on board, no special equipment. It has obviously the internal combustion engine is a 1218, so it's one of those VTOLs that actually can get that modifier of 6 plus, due to movement if it goes basically in a straight line, because it was 7, you got to go at least, I think 17, was it 18, one or two. So it's one of those that can go and get that extra pip of movement, which seems weird, it's like you look at the whole, this is a whole sidebar here, but when you look at the movement modifiers, 3, 5, 7, 10, then way up to 17 or 18. It's like, seriously? I figured it'd be maybe 18 or something. It's 18 but 15, but it doesn't. I don't understand, but there's a lot of stuff out there that can move at least 15, 16, but this is one of the ones that can get that extra. So alright, there you go. It has 1.5 tons of armor on board, and just enough basically to keep the crew and passengers from falling out, basically. So you got 24 points of armor. It has 8 on the front, 5 on the sides, 4 in the rear, and 2 in the rotor, which is standard procedure. You can't get any more than that. But the whole thing is, this is not really a combat vehicle by any stretch. The whole purpose is it's a battle taxi for your special operations unit, all right, which it does have a 3.5 ton infantry bay or compartment, which is interesting because the most you can carry, if you have a 3-ton bay, you can carry an infantry platoon. So makes me wonder why they have 3.5. So I personally was like, hey, just put 3 in there and take that extra half ton and throw it into 8 more points of armor to at least up it a little bit, so at least a medium laser, it can handle some hits while it goes in. That's the one thing I always look at there. Now, weaponry. It has 2 machine guns on the front with a half ton of ammo in the body. So basically the most range you can have with this thing is 3. And when you see something that carries infantry and it has 2 machine guns, the whole prime purpose of this thing is in case you run against when you deliver your package off, you drop your troops off, you have something with machine guns that can come up and hose down an infantry platoon or 2 or 3, depending on how many is out there. That's your support. This is not designed at all to go up against toe-to-toe or anywhere near mechs or even vehicles for that matter. Unless you're doing a flyby, so you're flying up and trying to get that 6 mod, even a 6 mod even at short range for most vehicles, which typically have a 4 gunnery, they're going to be hitting on 10s. Doesn't mean that they're not going to get lucky. Just saying. But anything that's out to medium is going to probably be a 11 or 12 to hit them, and then almost all the games I ever play, typically vehicles have a 4 gunnery. It's like nothing special about them. It was like our last campaign, though. It's like we're facing off against vehicles that had 1s and 2s, and like, seriously? And I was like, I've never in life of me ever seen something like that. But even facing off against WOBs. But that's another thing. But it's one of those vehicles that it's going to have a good chance of not getting hit out at medium and long ranges, depending on the weapon system. Now, if you're facing off against clans, that's a totally different story. They have targeting computers and pulse lasers with good gunnery, even LBXs, so they could probably have a good shot at swatting them down. It's like I see something like this out at long range, and hey, I need 10s and 12s range to hit them, and that's my only targets around, and it's only energy. I'm throwing it down range just to see what sticks, because every once in a while you get lucky. Just saying. So, yeah. And for the most part, against most interfered. And when this vehicle came out, this was when the Wolf Dragoon showed up. So, you're talking almost 40 years without having to worry about any clan tech weaponry. So the odds are in their favor of never getting hit unless they're at close range. And if you are dropping something off at close range with this thing, that's a totally different story. All right. Now, there are a few other versions of this thing. Basically they're kind of all the same in some way or another. So, but basically, I just like I said, the Kestrel is a battle taxi. Not even really a battle taxi. It's a taxi for your special operations. So you could drop off some infantry. Heck, you could probably put 2 squads of jump infantry on board this thing. Because the way I play in our group is that you can break a platoon up into squads, so you can have partial, half tonnage type of thing, and then have them consolidate on the ground. It's like anybody that's ever been in the military, me included, is like you don't carry the entire platoon in one vehicle. It's all in APCs, or in our case nowadays we got Blackhawks. You basically have a squad or so of that nature in a vehicle, and when you hit the ground, you consolidate together and start your operations. So that's the way we play. It's like some people may be sticklers for the rules or something like that, but it's just only logical if you ever done anything in the real world. All right. So there you go. That's a sidetrack too. Now, there's some other versions of this thing. The first one was the medevac version. This came out in 3022. It's full of paramedic equipment. Basically, let's see, the prime version is 155 battle value. I forgot to mention that. But the medevac version comes in at 126. Doesn't have any weapons at all. The whole purpose is to go in and pull out your wounded troopers and get them back to the hospital so they can get fixed up without dying, triage and all that fun stuff. So this is more of a campaign type of vehicle in the real world aspect of it. Okay, so if you're role-playing some stuff on the battlefield, say you got a wounded trooper or some special dignitary that needs to be medevaced out, this would be something you would use, for game terms. And it's like fly in, drop, pick up, and get out type of thing. And the other opposing team might be trying to kill said dignitary or special trooper, or maybe it's a mech warrior that's been hurt. The cockpit was hit, and it's like, oh, according to the rules, he's dead, but he's not dead type of thing, and you're just trying to get him out before he actually dies. All right, so that's useful that way. All right, now here we come with a different version, the medium laser version. All right, this came out in 3030, 252 points. This one has a single medium laser and heat sinks to go with it. It has an internal combustion engine. Why would you put energy weapons in internal combustion engine? Because you got to allocate 3 tons for your medium laser. Okay. All right. So basically, you're down to one. It has one. I think it's 1 ton of cargo space, which, in the grand scheme of things, if you look at a straight leg infantry platoon, basically you could throw a squad in, you know, with 1 ton. That's 1/3 or 1/3 of the size of your infantry platoon can go in. If you have 3 of these or 4 of these, you can spread out the entire platoon amongst all of them. And then when you hit the ground, you drop them, and then, or you know, however you want to look at it. So that's a way to look at it. And another way is like you could have a jump infantry squad on board and drop them along with the other ones and consolidate together on the ground. All right. So that's one way to look at that thing. And then once it's done, now you have a weapon system that can do some damage against mechs or vehicles. And you're trying to use your speed to your best advantage. Try to always keep, you know, when you got a 18 movement, yeah, you can easily get that 5 mod. You know, you're going to go 4, you're going to go 10 at least, get that 4 plus your VTOL, there's your 5. So you're always going to be maintaining that. So you can get enough movement to get some turns in. The odds of you always hitting are probably pretty drastic, unless you're right on top of them. But, you know, you have something that can do some damage out to, you know, 9. All right, now the next version is a small laser version. It has 2 small lasers, a power and flare, heat sinks, etc. And this comes at 175 battle value. Basically, you're kind of playing around with the same thing as the medium laser version, but you downgrade it to 2 small lasers. So basically, you're going to gain 1.5 tons capability, you know, for your infantry bay, or you can, I don't know if I remember if they put any extra armor on board, but I think it's only was it 2.5 tons you're going to have. I think it's 2.5 infantry bay on board. So now you're getting closer to half of a jump platoon you can carry on one of these. All right, so you basically a lance of these, 4 of them could carry 2 platoons of jump infantry on board them and then drop them off at your target AO. So there. But at 175 battle value, I personally would just keep the standard version with the machine guns. You know, the range is the same. It's slightly different when it comes to damage, but I like the capability of carrying a full platoon on board. You know, at least straight leg infantry guys. So, which is, yeah, worth it. Okay. Then we have the SRM version. This come out in 3042. Replaces the machine guns with a single SRM2 and a ton of ammunition. Okay, so this is 192 battle value. So you are looking, let's see, 1.5. So yeah, basically you got to pull that 1/2 ton out of the infantry bay to get this to work, which is okay. You're not really using it anyway, so it's a logical type of swap out. Now you only have 1 ton, so if you have a lance of these, 4 of them, I would probably run 1 or 2 of them with Infernos and the other 2 with standard, so you can kind of maximize your amount of damage. Plus the Infernos are kind of an all-comers type of weapon system when it comes to cooking infantry or starting fires or heating up mechs. And if you're shooting vehicles, obviously you're going to have that good chance of criticals on board, because vehicles are not designed to handle excess heat. All right. So that's how I would run those together. You know, it's like I would run a 2 types on the battlefield. And at 192 battle value, yeah, you could easily throw a lance of these out there. Makes total sense. All right. And then at the same time, you come out with the scout version. This one came out in 3030. This was for the 7th Commando primarily. It drops the infantry bay, and the engineers put on a VTOL mass mount. Okay, it makes sense. And you have a remote sensor dispenser. So basically, you're sending out remote sensors. You drop them and you're able to set up a perimeter warning system. And then you have extra communication equipment it works in conjunction with everything else, and it's like command and control type thing for the whole operation. So you're probably going to have one or two of these in the entire operations group. This is not going to be primarily a whole lance of these things. You're going to have a couple of them. And then you have a VTOL jet booster on board. Basically, it's kind of like mask for the VTOL. It gets it up there and doubles the cruising speed, which is pretty good. You can get across the board really quick with things, but I think it only has a two-use charge, if I remember right. It's been a while since I looked at the rules on those things. Should have probably looked it up, but yeah, just think of it as kind of like mask. So if you want to get from point A to point B, yeah, you can do it pretty quickly. Get there and get her done. All right, so that's the way I would envision that whole thing working out for you. So that is it when it comes to the Kestrel. It has its uses. It's going to be a taxi for your special operations groups or getting your infantry into the backfield. It's not going to be a stand-up weapon system. It's not going to be a combat. It's not, by any means, it's not a combat-style vehicle. It is a support vehicle for your kind of commandos. Let's put it that way. All right. So that's it. That's the Kestrel. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Hellcracks out.